This is Hoosier Ag Today and the Morning Edition for Tuesday morning, September 22, 2015. I'm Andy Eubank. We have the latest Indiana farm news on the Morning Edition. Also, the Indiana Farm Forecast update. We've had some beautiful conditions here in recent days. It looks like the whole week may be that way. The update is coming up with Hat meteorologist Ryan Martin, and a look back at yesterday's up move in the markets. Thoughts about what's ahead, too, coming up with Jim Riley and Tom Fritz and their analysis. Coming up in the news, Indiana Harvest continues to produce surprising yields. Gary Truitt has the update on today's morning edition of Hoosier Ag Today.
Indiana Farm Bureau needs you. It's critical for your farm and family that your voice be heard daily. Farm Bureau membership tells legislators that Indiana agriculture stands together on property tax issues, farmland annexation, and water rules. Protect your livelihood and children's future by going online to infb.org/join or call 1-800-FARM-BUREAU. infb.org/join or call 1-800-FARM-BUREAU. Your membership brings value and benefits, but more importantly, it adds your voice to that of your neighbors and friends. Don't stand on the sidelines. Be heard on local, state, and national issues. We'll show you how. Indiana Farm Bureau needs you. Go to infb.org/join or call 1-800-FARM-BUREAU.
This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm Andy Eubank, reporting on Indiana agriculture. And the DuPont Pioneer Agronomy Reports are back this year with timely updated reports, including harvest updates from across Indiana. Listen each week on this station and check out our agronomy page at HoosierAgToday.com. The harvest continues to make progress. According to the National Ag Statistics Service, the Indiana corn harvest is 8% complete, and soybeans are 5% harvested. More now with Gary Truitt.
Combines have been rolling across the state, and what growers are seeing in their yield monitors is better than they expected to see, according to Mary Gumbs with DuPont Pioneer.
Overall, yields are far better than what we expected when we had our big rainstorms coming into the late part of May and early June. A lot of the crop really benefited from late season nitrogen applications, and the dry, warm weather that we had during August really helped with grain fill and helped arrest some disease progression.
But she cautioned that the yield numbers are highly variable. She told Hoosier Ag Today that hybrid selection and the timing of nitrogen application are playing a big role in determining what yields look like this fall.
A lot of our more stress-resistant hybrids still managed to set a fairly normal kernel count, only about 10% lower on kernel count than normal. And that late season nitrogen, maybe put on just prior to tassel, helps the plant push more silk, have a more successful pollination, and then also have a more successful grain fill. So what we're seeing is in a lot of cases, the plant is filling the grain on the ear. Unfortunately, it's doing that to the detriment of the stalk.
And with weak stalks and shallow roots, serious lodging issues are occurring across the state. She said a lot of corn went down this weekend because of weekend storms.
There were some severe storms that moved through on Friday night, so I imagine just in that local storm path, there are probably some crops that are down, especially in the area down around Tippecanoe County where they have the tornado warnings on Friday. But for the most part, the crop's being taken out in a timely manner.
Much like the corn, Gumps says soybean yields are coming in better than expected, but highly variable.
The beans seem to take the wet weather early better than we expected.
When we're talking about yield, though, the term better than expected still doesn't mean a bumper crop. Only 47% of the Indiana corn crop currently rated in good to excellent condition. 52% of Indiana corn is now rated as mature and ready for harvest. More details at our website, HoosierAgToday.com. I'm Gary Truitt.
Time now for another of our regular updates on the nation's soybean checkoff. When thinking about seed selections, most farmers focus on achieving higher yields. While they know that better varieties can lead to more yield and profit, they may not realize how easily they can improve their competitiveness, too. Just look a few columns to the right in the seed guide at the protein and oil grain quality ratings. Mike Statton, a soybean researcher with Michigan State University Extension, explains.
We all know that selecting the right varieties is also the best way to achieve higher yields. Well, it's also maybe the best way to achieve higher protein. So the magic into is, can you team those two up where you can get a variety that gives you the best yield and also gives you higher protein?
While soybean farmers are not paid for protein, Statton says they need to think about their customers. International buyers are asking for more protein. If farmers don't pay attention to their protein, they may lose markets. To find high-quality soybean varieties in your area, ask your seed dealer or reference a free resource from the Soy Checkoff called the Soybean Quality Toolbox. You can find the Soybean Quality Toolbox online at growsoybeanvalue.com. I'm Andy Eubank. This is Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at Hoosier Ag Today's Indiana Farm Forecast from the Wells Fargo Forecast Center. Taking a look at the latest surface map and the latest batch of model information that's into us. You know what? I know one thing for certain here this morning. It's going to be incredibly difficult, even for a long-winded, very verbose man like myself, to stretch this weather discussion to 3 minutes this morning. Why? Because there's just not much to talk about for the Hoosier State. There's a front that's sneaking down into the upper Midwest and kind of tailing off back into the Central Plains over the next 2 to 2.5 days. It's going to bring some rain to Iowa, Minnesota, maybe a few places in Wisconsin, but it falls apart. We have no serious threat of precipitation here this week. And you know what? We don't have anything next week. We still think that it could take all the way out until about the 2nd of October before our next precipitation event moves in. That's a good 14 days, 2 weeks from our last rain event, which we had Friday night into Saturday. And temperatures, you know what? There's not much to talk about here. Yeah, we were a bit below normal as we finished out the weekend and started the week yesterday, but we're getting back to normal here for most of the rest of this week, going above normal for the weekend and a good chunk of next week. All this basically means is you've got a good 10 days yet, at least, of fantastic harvest weather across the Hoosier State. I'm not seeing anything out there that would cause a major problem when you get right down to it. As a matter of fact, when I look at the extended forecast period, I just don't see anything. No rain in sight across the state. That's what I'm saying. Hard to kind of stretch this to 3 minutes when it's going to be sunny and warm all the way through the period. Let's talk about the extended period. Little front coming in on the 2nd into the 3rd, better front around the 5th into the 6th. My gut feeling here is we're probably going to see the two systems merge, and behind the front, whenever it comes through, whether it's the 4th or 5th, what have you, behind it, we're going to see another push of cooler air coming in the extended forecast period. Right now, I'm putting rainfall totals there in early October, probably on the order of 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch. Not a lot of rain, but some. And then we're going to be following it up with cooler, drier air. The other thing that I need to throw out there for the Hoosier State, no threat of frost. But you know what? Let's back it out and say Corn Belt wide. No threat of frost. So anybody that talks about that is fooling themselves as well. Generally, great weather. What more can I say? I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin on Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
Monitor your grain anytime, any place with GrainTrack from Co-Alliance. GrainTrack uses the latest technology for remote temperature readings every 30 minutes. Let GrainTrack remove the guesswork from grain storage so you don't need to drive, climb, or keep handwritten notes to track information. Save money on electricity and shrink by not over-drying. A typical installed system is only a few cents per bushel. For more information, check out GrainTrack at coalliance.com. GrainTrack bin monitoring only from Co-Alliance.
This is Hoosier Ag Today and the Monday Farm Market Review. I'm Andy Eubank. The review is brought to you by Seed Consultants, simply the best value in the seed industry. 800-708-2676, seedconsultants.com. Hire all around on Monday to open up the new week. Analyst and broker Jim Riley of Riley Trading says the turnaround in the market started during the overnight session.
In the overnight, actually the market looked pretty sick on all the markets, corn, the beans, wheat, and everything. And all of a sudden, wheat started moving higher, probably some short covering by the funds. And, of course, that pulled corn, and they come in and bought some corn. They also bought beans today.
The daytime session was a strong one all day long. Tom Fritz joined us in the middle of the session for analysis on why the markets were up.
I do believe we're looking at some short covering in feed grains. Your corn market's up 6 cents. Chicago wheat's up 9.5 cents. And I think the big play in the wheat is mostly intermarket spreading against corn and beans, even though they are both higher. We've got a pretty clear forecast for the foreseeable future. So I think in this regard, you're seeing some guys jump on the intermarket spreads, long wheat, short corn, short beans. Now, after the report of September 11th, the corn market pretty much went into a bit of a tailspin. But it was our idea that 375 or so would be good support for D's corn. And we touched there this morning early. We haven't been able to take it out, and we've seen some short covering ensue. I question, though, can the rally really go anywhere from here, given the clear look for harvesting? Beans, look at your meal market. Meal markets is still in red ink on the day, not by much, but just a half $1, 70 cents or so. Beans are getting a lot of help from bean oil. Bean oil's up 62, and bean oil, if you look at a bean oil chart and then compare it to a crude oil chart, they look very, very similar. And so you look at crude oil up $1.44, and so that has your bean oil rebounding 61 points. But longer term, bean oil, is it really a reliable leader within the soy complex? I tend to be a little bit mistrusting, but, bean oil had been everybody's favorite short, when they're trying to be long beans or long meal. So I think that's helping the bean market out. But, as we look further down the week, it's going to be clear sailing for those that are ready to combine. So, I'm questioning, can this rally go anywhere?
That's Tom Fritz of EFG Group in Chicago. My thanks also to Jim Riley. You can get Jim at 800-678-2063. Final numbers now for December corn, 384.5, up 7 1/4. March and May went up 7.5 cents. March corn finishing at 396. May 403.5. Soybeans up 7 for November, 874 1/4. Jan beans 878 3/4, up 7 1/4. And March 882 1/4, up 7.5 cents. And the wheat market a dime up for December, 496 3/4. March wheat 504, up 10.5 cents. Checking livestock, also higher there, and live cattle for December went to $139.75, up $1.37. The lean hog contract December, $64.97, up 82 cents. Follow the markets during today's trading session at HoosierAgToday.com. Click Markets, and the markets are also on the mobile app for Apple and Droid. That is a free download. Search for Hoosier Ag Today. I'm Andy Eubank. Thanks for joining us. We hope you'll be back for our midday podcast later today. We'll update you on the grain markets at that time, and we'll have expert analysis as well from Arlen Suderman, scheduled to join me from Water Street Solutions. Have a good Tuesday from all of us here at HAT, Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.